But then out of nowhere, one of the windows shatters. Someone's broken it open. And next thing you know, dogs and cats are jumping out of the window, and good citizens below are catching them in their arms. And I said, it's literally raining cats and dogs.
Very good.
I would be king of words.
Very good.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
We're back. Oops, the podcast. Very positive energy in the recording studio today. Some days you walk in here and you just feel like it's going to be a good episode. And that's how I feel today. Julio.
I would agree with that.
I'm very excited to see you.
Good to see you.
The whole crew. Everyone's wearing shorts. The kneecaps are out.
Capping.
The shins are shining. Spring has sprung. And everyone's looking good. Everyone's looking toasty and everyone's looking pretty tight around the midriff, all that good stuff. But I do have a bone to pick right off the bat.
Oh, let's hear it.
This is a bone.
Hit us with the bone.
With almost an entire, if not 2 generations of people. And I include you in this, Julio.
Okay. Get him.
All right, so it's a classic Francis bone. Very classic bone of mine. The word literally.
Oh, yeah.
This was coming. We all saw this coming. But here's the thing. You know, it's been complained about before. It's overuse.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone has really latched on to this word because I don't recall hearing this word when I was growing up. We didn't use the word literally when I was in high school.
I have no recollection.
We said like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We said that all the time.
Like a lot,
but we didn't say literally.
Mm-hmm.
And some people have commented on it. Gary Goldman has a fantastic bit in his special, The Great Depression, about it.
So good.
Where millennials use it to mean both its meaning and its antonym. Which is super funny. You'd have to see that to appreciate it. But, literally is a filler. It is a word of emphasis for many people. With all due respect, I've heard you use it a little bit.
I'm not ashamed.
No, nor should you be. It's no big deal.
I use it.
It's no big deal. I'm being
I use it, and to clarify, I use it in the wrong way regularly. I'm not literally saying literally correctly. So I'm literally being like, dude, literally, it was crazy.
Yes.
And it wasn't. It likely was not literally crazy.
But here's the thing. That isn't even necessarily incorrect. And here's why I'm bringing this up is because we had Sierra's amazing sister here staying with us, and she's of the younger generation.
Oh, yeah.
She's 20 years old.
We FaceTimed, I believe.
That's right. She's awesome.
She
Avid
really
listener
is.
to the pod. Maybe she'll hear this. Maybe she won't.
Hope she does.
But she wasn't using the word, but I was asking her about why her age group is so ardently supporting the revival of this word, the use of this word.
How did she take that?
Well, she thought she doesn't give a shit about anything I have to say, nor should she, because she's cool and I'm over the hill.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So she just says, well, who gives a shit? But that's not what she said, because she was, staying with us. So she had to respect my
she had to entertain
stupid old man questions.
The silly assault.
Yeah, but she said, but she asked me something that was really interesting. She goes, what's the correct use of it? Could you correctly use the word literally?
Yeah. Dude, I was waiting in line for literally 2 hours. I actually waited for 2 hours.
That's fine.
That's correct.
Yeah,
right?
I'm fine with that. And but here's the question, right? Why do you have to say literally there?
Because if I said I was waiting for 2 hours, it could seem like I was exaggerating.
And
it seems like I thought it felt like 2 hours when perhaps it may not have been.
But here's my question, and this is why I think this is so interesting. Right? Why did we get to a point where people wouldn't have believed you,
where we're just lying
if you
regularly?
said you waited in line for 2 hours? What lack of trust would I have to say, that's fucking bullshit, Julio?
Yeah?
That is, you are so full of shit.
2 hours, huh?
There's no way you spent 2 hours in line.
2 hours, like, get over here.
Why would you lie to me about that?
Yeah, no, totally.
Why would I need you to, and beyond that, why would all of a sudden just the word literally quell my trust issues?
Right. Okay, so all right, so in a way where, what if for emphasis, like, I was like, dude, my dad is deaf. Like, he's basically deaf. And you're like, what do you mean he's deaf? And then I'm like, he'll be yelling like this at me when he's literally standing 2 feet away from me.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing as the example?
Well, I think it's this. I think it's roughly the same. Okay. In the other direction, right? It's a numerical thing where you are, and again, it is you being aware of the lack of belief in people now. It's almost like I wonder if fake news has contributed to the proliferation of the word literally, because people are so quick to exaggerate, embellish, lie, that we now, and the screwed up part is that everyone seems to think that by throwing literally in, they have done a lie detector test. That they have put their hand on a Bible by including that word and are swearing, in front of a court.
So, but this is the thing. Like in these situations that we're even discussing right now, these are pretty good examples of how one should use it, as opposed to the way that people are using it regularly. Which is, if you're talking to me, okay, I've had this exact conversation with somebody, and I'm like, dude, I love the show Tokyo Vice, and you're like, dude, I love the show Tokyo Vice. Literally, you have no idea.
Yeah,
that's insane.
I'd be like, it's literally my favorite show. But even that would be okay.
Even that's better than
it could be my favorite show. But this is
literally, I'm so tired.
That's exactly. That was the next words coming out of my mouth.
Really?
So that's what Sierra's sister said. She said, my friends say that all the time.
Yeah.
I am literally so tired right now. It's like, well, I would have believed you.
Completely unnecessary
without
literally.
saying literally. Yeah. And not only that, it's not a point that you need to drive home. You don't need to prove to me how tired you are by using a bigger word.
Right. There's no need for it.
But okay, I have some more fun because she said, how would you use it correctly? Okay. And do you know why this came up?
Why?
Because we were grilling dinner last night, and I grilled some baked potatoes wrapped in tin foil. Do you know where this is going?
That they were literally wrapped in tin foil?
No. Think about it, right? Think about this. I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
A lot of the time, my favorite use of the word literally, my favorite proper use of it is when what you are saying can exist both as either a metaphor or like an idiom, as well as its literal meaning being true in the same breath.
Okay.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. So like,
where am I going with the grilling? I grilled these potatoes. They were wrapped in tin foil. Where am I going here?
I don't know.
Think about
but
an
I'm thinking
idiom.
of a good example, like pigs in a blanket or something.
Okay, you're on the right track.
It's like, literally pigs in a blanket. Not the hot dog.
I have this plate of the potatoes, and I'm transferring them off the plate to unwrap them, and I pick them up very quickly and drop them. And she goes, hot potato. And I go, literally.
Nice.
Do you see what I'm doing here?
That's good.
You guys like that?
That's very good.
How good does that feel?
That's very good.
That feels good, doesn't it?
That's very good. So literally can be used very effectively in place of no pun intended.
Well, that's exactly, yes. Where, okay, we know the term hot potato, right? We know it to mean, somebody, it's this idea that but it's more often used as a metaphor or a saying, right?
Yeah.
If I say to you, I might throw something to you just to pass it on to someone else and say hot potato, right? I'm not actually throwing a hot potato at you.
Right.
Hot potato could refer to me, I don't know.
It doesn't even
tossing
need
you-
to be something hot. It could just be anything.
Exactly. Or it could also be an even deeper metaphor where what is it? Maybe I say to you, we're in a group, and I say, hey, Julio, did you hear that Ryan's brother doesn't like him? And then you were like, I told you you had to let him know that.
Ryan's like, dude,
and then
what
you
is
were like,
this
listen,
example?"
Chris, you actually have to tell Ryan that his brother doesn't like him. You had hot potatoed
Oh,
that
wouldn't even-
bad news. Does that make sense? That's not a very good example.
I've never heard of hot potato used in that
No?
capacity. No, but I mean, it makes sense. But this is the first time for me.
Okay, here's another example. Because then they said, well, can you use another example to help illustrate the point? And I said, sure. Let's say that you're walking along the street and someone screams out, help, help. The building is on fire. And you look up, right? And there's a veterinary clinic, a hospital for animals on the 3rd floor of a building. And that floor is on fire. You see smoke billowing from the windows. And you say, oh God, oh no, lots of animals, parakeets, fish, anything are in big trouble probably up there. Somebody needs to help them. But then out of nowhere, one of the windows shatters. Someone's broken it open. And next thing you know, dogs and cats are jumping out of the window, and good citizens below are catching them in their arms. And I said, it's literally raining cats and dogs.
Very good.
I would be
Very
a
good.
king of words.
Very good.
It's raining cats and dogs.
Thank God you were there when that happened.
Literally.
Thank God you were on the sidewalk that day.
Pretty good. Pretty good there, right?
Just killing, literally. That's good.
Oh,
That's good.
man. So I have to say, it's fun to use the word correctly. In the rare instances that you find where you can actually slide that word in, you can either be very funny. It's a very funny thing to do. But I would ask anyone out there listening to use it less liberally and less incorrectly, because it's a fun word and it will lose its shine if we continue to just beat it into the ground as we have done. Is that a fair call?
Sure. I mean, dude, that's all you though, dude. You're dying on that hill. I don't care about.
You don't
this.
want to.
No, I'm enjoying this discussion.
You don't
but
want to come up that hill with me?
people
You're
using,
general custering me?
people using literally wrong doesn't bother me that much.
No.
And I have ridiculous pet peeves.
Mm.
I've actually recently added one to my list, and as I was writing, I was like, "This is ridiculous." I'll look in a little bit, but
Every time
I
I
don't
hear
share that
literally
with you.
used incorrectly, it feels a little bit like in Elf when someone says that they don't believe in Santa Claus, and a little bit of my power diminishes. And the only way for me to regain that power is to hear someone correctly using
Right.
the word literally.
dude, another fun thing to do is to use it as incorrectly as possible. Like I'll call someone my literal brother who is not my brother.
Yeah.
And I think that that's fun. He's my literal boy. That doesn't even make sense. He's my literal boy, dude.
That means he's your
He's
son.
my son.
Yeah. He's my son.
Oh, dude, that's great. What a fun little
That's a fun
generation clash.
Yep. I thought that was a fun one. I'm glad I brought that to the podcast.
really
and I
enjoyed
hope
it.
that some people out there listening take something from that.
All right, do you want to hear a couple of these pet peeves?
Yes, please, more than anything in the world.
These
Ron.
are, this is, I don't even know when or how or why I would write this down, but when people go, oh, did I stutter?
Do people do that still?
I don't know, dude.
I would have not
People
thought
may not do that.
that was still a thing. I wouldn't have thought that they did the stutter. I can hear people saying, "Did I stutter?"
Right.
But not
Including,
stutter. That's offensive.
this is like something my brother would text me saying, how much do you hate? And he'll say something that never happens.
Uh-huh.
This may be one of those.
Well, I have heard that, but I think that that's another thing that has sort of gone the way of the dodo. And by dodo,
Extinct.
I mean a number of words that we have now deemed offensive.
Oh, like by impersonating a disability.
Can't do deaf voice.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody should do deaf voice. Whereas it was always offensive, but people didn't mind as much 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm. It's become a thing you can't do.
Saying the R word to refer to,
What's that?
retarded.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to say that anymore. No, it's okay. I don't mean,
Walked you into that one by accident.
It's fine. That's fine. I hope.
It's fine. As an example, it's fine until they take it out of context to make a compilation.
Right. And then I would hope that they would clip it with me starting by saying R word.
Right.
And then you demanding clarification.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Revenge? Repudiation? Why can't you say that?
I'm in cahoots, dude, with the mob.
That's it.
Okay, here's another one. Lowering the like when you're in a car with somebody in the summer and it's hot and humid as fuck and you've turned on the air conditioning and then someone in the car rolls the window down. Not understanding the idea of humidity at all.
No, you're right. That's a good point.
And the window people will fucking fight that one to the death. It's like, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
Are you a dog? I'm like, why'd you lower the window? They're like, it's nice to have some fresh air. I'm like, that's not fresh air.
Sure. Okay, but this is a great point. Okay, because here's the deal, dude. It is, to me, as I don't know, you're being as bad of a citizen of the world as you could be, just about. But as far as luxury goes, driving with the air conditioning on and the windows down is a treat.
But does it not like cancel the two things out?
I think you get that fresh air and you also get that blast of air conditioning on you. It's not good. You're right. You're not supposed to do it.
It's just not working as well.
Well,
I get what you.
So
what
then
you're
the
saying.
passive aggressive response for you should be to instantly turn off the air conditioning. As soon as they roll the window down, you turn it off. You say you just big dicked us. You decided for the car. By rolling your window down, you have decided that's how we are creating airflow. That's how we are cooling off. Up till that point, the status quo had been established with air conditioning. Windows were up, and yet you, on your island, Napoleon, of your own accord, you rolled the windows down and you made the call for the rest of us without even consulting us.
I wonder if they would even notice.
Well, you could make a show of it.
I could be like, I would have to make a.
Yeah, just take it, start clicking it off, closing the vents, go totally over the top. I guess we don't need the air conditioning anymore. No, Pat in the back. He prefers the air.
It's even worse that if the person in the back does it, then that thing starts to like.
Yeah, the helicopter sound.
Yeah.
And you can really make them feel bad about that because then inevitably someone else in the car will try to open their windows to mitigate that sound, but you could close their window. You could say, listen, no, he has to live with the sound of a firing squad in his ear if he's demanding that he have the window down by himself.
I wonder if I almost feel like being able to hear it is genetic or something.
No.
It seems like some people, they don't even notice.
No, Julio.
Is that
Everyone hears.
Everyone hears that?
Everyone hears the helicopter sound. Everyone hears that.
I certainly do, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish that they had eject buttons in the fucking. So if your friend starts acting up, you just fucking, poof, and then you hear that like Wile E. Coyote thing. How does he do it? Is that wrong? I didn't do that right. I didn't do that right.
Does Wile E. Coyote?
Like when he is kind of thrown into the distance, he makes this noise, this whoo or something. I'm doing it wrong.
Huh. Interesting.
That was a very bad.
Are you embarrassed?
A little bit. I'm a little embarrassed.
You really put yourself out on a limb there.
Really put myself out there
with
for
a
no
sound
reason.
that no one agreed with. Nothing worse when you try to do an impression
it's just
and you don't nail it because you hear it in your head and you think you've got it, but sometimes your vocal cords don't cooperate.
I just can't. I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Or George Bush, right? Whoa, guys. Oh, that's not George Bush. You know what I mean?
Oh, somebody's trying to, yeah.
Yeah, they think they have
I do it pretty good.
Who do you have?
I don't even know, dude.
Who have you got?
I don't like, Not really.
I
sure.
know my limits in terms of impressions, so I won't break it out unless I think I can actually nail it.
Mhm. For me, it's like I don't even have an inventory. Like sometimes I can just do one.
But there's some that there are some that you think you should know will be within your range.
Yeah.
Because think about it, right? Some are so far off the beaten path that unless you've practiced it, you wouldn't know how to do it.
Or I thought you meant not because it's just like obscure.
No, I think all right, if you said, "Man, I love the show Mad Men."
Mm-hmm.
It's literally my favorite show. And I said, "Oh yeah, Don Draper." Even though I haven't watched Mad Men. Don Draper is, even without nailing the impression, people wouldn't fault me for getting it wrong because it's not crazy. It's not a crazy
Can you do
voice.
it?
I don't know. I could try to do a line that he might say, and even if I didn't get the cadence right or the tone, people wouldn't be like, "Dude, you're not even close." Because Don Draper is pretty neutral.
It's not like doing a Trump or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
A highly
Impersonator.
mocked or mimicked voice. If I said, Christopher Walken, you better get your Christopher Walken right because so many people have done it.
I can't do it. Can you?
No. And I wouldn't try because I would know.
There was a mouse in a bucket of cream. That's a terrible.
See? You got and now you got to walk it back.
But I didn't.
Nothing worse than walking back.
I don't feel that bad about it because I never said I could.
No,
do
because
it.
we set it up that way.
We did set it
but
up
if
that
you were in a group of friends
and I was trying to do
and
it,
someone was like, "I just watched this great Christopher Walken movie," and you were like, "Two mice
that's better
dive into a pot.
That's really good,
One
actually.
says to the other."
That's pretty good.
That's I can't.
That's
I don't.
pretty
I
good.
have. You're giving me
That was
that
good.
because I'm giving you 4 seconds,
But still, it's a good.
and I would know to cut myself off after that.
Okay, fair. Have you watched Severance? By the way, I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed season 1.
Everyone's talking about Severance. I have not seen it. Is he in that show?
He is in it. Yeah.
Come on, really?
Mm-hmm.
Good for him. We're excited to start it. We've been sort of underwater with shows that we have to watch.
Like what?
You ever get that feeling?
Yeah, but I actually like that feeling.
Well, I don't mind it, but there's this feeling of, oh gosh, we need to finish this so we can get to this.
To that.
And then to this. And TV has become, even though it's extremely enjoyable, it's become a little bit of a chore where, because nobody ever releases these shows weekly anymore, you're constantly having to catch up to avoid having the show spoiled for you. So we felt this rush to finish Ozark instead of being able to enjoy it at our leisure.
Oh, I hear you.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. So, okay. So I'm having trouble with Ozark a little bit.
Really?
I'm on like season 6, episode 1. I'm having trouble going on.
I think it's season 4.
I'm
is the
currently
final.
on season 1, episode 6, though, I'm saying. And we're having.
Oh, you're on season 1 episodes. You're not even through season 1?
Do you encourage me to
Dude,
to push through?
I'm going to hot take alert. I put Ozark up there with Breaking Bad and The Sopranos as the 3 best TV shows I've ever seen.
Wow. I will persevere. I hold both of those other 2 shows in very high regard as well.
And I don't put Game of Thrones up there with it.
Crazy.
Game of Thrones isn't too far behind, but those 3. Now, don't get me wrong. Euphoria is
very good.
Nipping at the heels. It's certainly nipping.
Euphoria is great.
You're picking your heels up if you're running from that dog.
So, dude, Severance, Hillary couldn't get into it.
Why?
I don't know. She just didn't like it.
Well, she's a tough crowd.
She's really not. I mean, we've been watching the like children doing errands show. And she also loves Guy Fieri, dude, which I just learned, which is like
what an eclectic
a
taste.
crazy curveball.
Yeah.
And she's like, the show is just a really good show. And
is it diners, drivers, and dive-ins?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't watch
diners,
it. Drive-ins, and dives.
Yes.
That's not an easy thing to say.
It sounded like you had it, but you just like.
I didn't mean to mess that up. I couldn't figure out what the last part was.
Dude, he does this like stylized voiceover that is just such an interesting thing where he's like, and that's where I need the potato skins. It's like this crazy, I've never heard anything like it. And I was like, what is that? And she was like, it's fun. I was like, okay. It is. I get it. Food shows like don't always do it for me. Like I've enjoyed watching with her, but she's like, it's just like an easy thing to watch. It's fun. Everything looks so good. It's stuff I would never eat, but like it's fun to watch people eat it.
I will say that I've been to restaurants that he has featured on the show, and it makes me think that the restaurant is better.
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't know why, but I give him that weight.
So I'm just used to him being like mocked. So I didn't, obviously that show has 90,000 episodes. Like people must like the guy.
Oh, sure.
And I don't have no opinion, but like I just always assumed everybody didn't like Guy Fieri.
Is that right? Is he like that?
I don't know. I must be wrong.
Is he the
I made an
Big
assumption.
Bang Theory of food critics?
Maybe.
I don't know if I would have said that. I don't know that he is disliked.
Yeah, I guess not. Like
Well, I don't know though. I have
Mhm.
no idea. I've never seen the show, but I have a vague respect for him.
Yeah.
Simply from
Yeah.
Is he a chef?
I think he was. He was a chef.
Okay.
Uh
But to me, it's right. Anthony Bourdain is the really elevated food critic, experience guy.
like poet.
Yeah,
almost.
sort of the Jack Kerouac, tortured, killed himself. It all wrapped up perfectly.
Mhm.
I hate to say that. That sounds insensitive. But as far as creating his legacy,
Totally.
it was a very Hemingway male story in a
Yeah,
way.
very
And
much.
his show, which I've also not really watched, but I think I would gravitate more towards something like that.
Towards Bourdain.
Yeah, the sort of experience of it, the people element, his observations. Plus, I know he was cooking at 3-star Michelin restaurants in New York to make his career.
Really?
Yeah.
The restaurant that he used to work at, I live right next to it. But like the famous Le Hal or whatever it was called. I didn't realize it's that good though.
Yeah.
I believe it.
I don't know
honestly.
if I don't know if that one necessarily, but he was
I see what you're
he
saying.
came up at
Working in Michelin restaurants.
Danielle and Bernardin and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like fine dining shows too, even though I love Chef's Table.
Yeah.
But whatever. I don't know. Are you excited about Stranger Things?
I'm excited for them.
Have you watched all of them up to now?
Yeah. But I've lost interest.
It's amazing. A show like that is so, you can tell it just takes so much time to make it. Dude, my entire life, Stranger Things has been coming out with a new season. It feels
Interesting.
Like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, how on earth do you keep us interested?
I admire those kids a lot. I admire the brothers that made it, the Farrelly brothers, I think it is.
No.
Is that not right?
No, it's something else.
Something
the Farrelly brothers made Dumb and Dumber. It's the,
You're right,
oh
I'm
my God,
missing.
fuck, it's going to drive me crazy. I don't know.
What do
You
you
can
got?
just tell us. Duffer brothers.
Duffer brothers.
Dude, how old is 11 now? She's got to be 18 now, right? Can we look how up that too? Just out of curiosity.
but literally, she's
Literally.
probably. There you go.
All right.
Good for you, Julio.
That's really funny.
All right. So good stuff. The shows. Ooh, I went to Game 7 of the
Oh my God.
Rangers Penguins hockey playoffs.
What an exciting ending.
At Madison Square Garden, and the Rangers won the game in overtime.
Dude, crazy.
And I went with Sierra.
So how does it overtime work?
In
Like,
the
it's not
playoffs,
golden goal?
different. It is.
Oh, it is. So the
Sudden
game was
death.
over.
Correct.
I couldn't find like a highlight of it. And it was driving me nuts.
You can go to
I'm
YouTube.
sure I can now, but like 3 hours after the game was over, all I could find was like Game 6 highlights. I was like, guys, how are we not doing this more quickly? Whatever. I would like to see the highlight,
Yeah.
but you can maybe just give it to me.
Well, we got these tickets from my amazing godfather, who has season tickets and occasionally gives them to me. And he and his son went to game, earlier games in the series, but then the Rangers went down 3-1 in games. And then he said, hey, listen, if miraculously the Rangers somehow push it to Game 7, you can have tickets.
That's sick.
So I'm watching Game 5, hoping they stay alive, and I'm watching Game 6, hoping they push it to a Game 7. But it really did not look like they were gonna push it to 7 games after going down.
What team
3-1.
was better during the regular season?
I think the Rangers technically were better, but the Penguins have Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin and this history of winning Stanley Cups over my whole lifetime. I mean, they were as much of a juggernaut in hockey as any other team that I can remember over the last 10, 12 years.
Totally.
So they magically push it to 7 games. Meanwhile, the Celtics are clawing and fighting and trying to come back against the Bucks, who, Giannis is playing a different sport from everybody else on the floor.
And the defending champs.
And it just, how on earth are my beloved Celtics, our beloved Celtics, going to do this? And so I'm trying to make deals with the devil. Do you ever do this? Where you say, listen, I'll forego going to Game 7 of the Rangers if you can just let the Celtics win. And you make those deals with whatever unseen malevolent force lurks beneath the floorboards, pulling the strings upon the soul of my life. That's how I view the world. And unfortunately, it's pretty sadistic, but both teams won. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to owe something. The point is we go to the Ranger game and Sierra and I are going. I'm bringing Sierra. She's never been to a hockey game before. I don't think she's ever watched a hockey game. So her first game,
oh man, that's sick,
is Game 7, Rangers Penguins, New York City, Madison Square Garden, and we have front row seats.
So the winner of this series goes to the finals?
Goes to the next round.
Which is the conference final? Is like the same step as
it's 4 rounds.
Same place basketball is at currently?
Yeah. Basketball's a round ahead.
Oh. Okay.
This was the first round.
Oh, okay.
And now they're playing the Carolina Hurricanes, who have the guy that gave me the stick.
Oh, nice, dude.
And by the way,
coming together.
So I'm sitting in the same seats that I got that stick in, right?
Sweet.
And I look to my left, and about 4 seats away, there's a kid. He's probably 9.
He's in
the range.
Okay.
He's the sweet spot. And I get it. I thought to myself, all right, well, there goes my chance of getting a stick. Because they're going to give it to this kid without a doubt. And I don't even resent him, right? He deserves it more than I do. But over the course of the game, this kid went up to go pee no fewer than 5 or 6 times.
And you had to get up?
I had to stand up because I was wearing my favorite Jordans, and little kids have no sense of how to not step on your goddamn feet like they're the fucking daughter at a father-daughter dance.
You should have checked him, dude.
He might as well have just been kicking my shoes. And it bothered me. It started to bother me more and more. So I started scheming about how I could get a stick instead of him. And would I have, if they'd thrown one up, would I have used my reach advantage to grab it out of the air? And would his dad have gotten mad at me for not giving it to him? I'm envisioning all of these things. But each time that the kid made us stand up to let him out to go pee, I felt less and less bad about taking the hockey stick from him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we never even got there because the players didn't give us a stick. But I was ready. I was ready to not give him a stick.
You want a stick? You just stop drinking so much Mountain Dew.
That's
you little
right.
Shit.
Yeah, find a way to stretch your bladder. You don't have to go when you're only at 60%.
Dude, that's annoying. I remember like being equally frustrated when I went to the Rangers game. I don't know, a few weeks ago or whatever. The people sitting next to us, it actually made me want to leave early. The people next to us were hammered. They were from like Buffalo, or they must have been playing Buffalo, and they were just like drinking a ton of beer. And they were like sloppy, and they just kept going to the bathroom. And I was like, dude, I'm done.
It's bothersome.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to finish this point, Sierra did something where, I'm at the game with my girl, hockey. And over the course of the first period, I start trying to explain rules. Like, the offsides rule in
A
hockey.
little confusing.
But I was starting to explain it, and I was like, look, the puck has to enter the offensive zone before any other players. They have to wait. She goes, is it like offsides in soccer? And I was like, yeah, it is. It's called offsides in hockey. Pretty good. And she was like, cool. Then another few minutes go by, and I say, man, we're down, and it just kind of feels like we're getting dominated. And she looks up at the scoreboard, and she goes, look at the shot differential. Look at how many more shots on goal the Penguins have than the Rangers. And I was like, what the fuck?
You're a
What
fast
kind
learner.
of fucking hockey savant have we been sitting on here? And dude, this continued to happen until by the third period, we're down 3-2. The Rangers are down 3-2. There's 6 minutes left. And it's super intense.
She's like, oh, it's a power play.
Dude, we're talking about man advantage, like needing to clear the puck down the ice to kill the power play, penalties off. She's got the lingo. She learned this
funny.
so fast, and she's now so into the game. Close attempts where there's like a guy in front and the puck gets centered.
Oh.
She would do this. Go. Like get out of her seat, and
On the
kind
edge
of
of her
like
seat.
lean forward and like put her hands up because we had the glass in front of us. And I'm watching her and I'm like, this is the hottest thing ever.
Yeah.
Watching my girl become this like fucking hardcore hockey fan in real time. Like, are we gonna go to games together
Yes,
for the
yeah.
rest of our lives?
Might have to get season tickets.
This
dude.
is so cool.
That's so
I was
funny.
really happy to see it. It was cool,
Yeah, it's great.
because I had this sexist idea in my head going in that she was going to be like, are they really going to fight? Like, oh God. So how many quarters are there? No, babe, it's periods.
Bro, why are hockey games so long? They're exceptionally long.
It's so weird that you say that because you go to a hockey game, to me, it feels a lot less long than a basketball game.
What is like the reality of the differences between the lengths of both games? Like when everything is added up, like the average length of a basketball game versus the average length of a
Yeah,
hockey
let's
game.
find that out.
Because the 20 minute, the period in between the periods is madness. to
Yes,
me.
it is, but the clock doesn't stop that often in a hockey game.
Right.
It really can run, and I know this because if you go to the bathroom and you try to come back in to the game while the play is happening, they don't let you go back to your seats,
Oh, interesting.
which is a really nice thing for people who are trying to watch the game because you don't have people coming in and have to
Constantly,
stand
yeah.
up and all that stuff. But you can get stuck waiting to go back to your seats. I've waited like 6 minutes before.
Mm,
You're just standing there with your dumb hot dog, missing the game.
yeah. Yeah, and I guess the fourth quarter in basketball tends to take a while.
There's so much stopping in
Stopping.
basketball. There's so many timeouts. There's so many TV breaks.
Mhm.
I don't know. I would have guessed that a basketball game is probably at least 15 minutes longer than a hockey game, on average, from the start of the game to the end.
This might be a tough thing to find the specifics for.
That's
Mm.
too much. Yeah. Keep hunting, Ryan.
If you don't mind, Ryan.
Spend all your time on that.
Dude, it's great. So this is funny. So Hillary yesterday was like kind of in a bad mood, and we were kind of like bickering a little bit, and
The old bicker.
but it wasn't a big deal. Like I was ready to move on, and like she maybe wasn't yet. And I just knew that all I had to do was put on the Japanese toddlers doing errands show, and it would immediately get her in a good mood again. And it immediately worked, dude. What an intense 10 minutes of television that is. Those episodes couldn't be longer, or like it would be too emotionally intense.
Why? What? Why is it emotionally intense?
Okay, so dude, like watching these kids, like you were rooting for them so hard, and they like this one kid was like walking up a hill. He had already gone through so much. Like he was bringing fish to the fishmonger, which they said in the episode. I thought of you.
The monger, yeah.
To the monger, and they had arranged this little cooler for him with a rope, and the rope broke, and the fish fell out of.
I saw this. I
You
saw
saw this one?
I don't even know how I saw it. I saw
great.
it somewhere. Not watching it on Netflix.
But then he couldn't pick up the fish; it was too slippery,
Right.
And he was also grossed out by it. So he's trying to figure out how to pick it up for like a half an hour. He finally does. It breaks again. So he's like going through all this. Finally, he's like on the home stretch. And he bought bigger milk than he had been tasked with. So it was, and they had tasked him with a smaller size because they knew he would struggle getting up the hill with it. So he's struggling and he keeps taking a break every now and then. And when he would take a break, the apples would fall out of the bag and roll all the way down the hill.
Are you telling me this guy got milk, apples, and fish?
He brought fish to be cut into sashimi and then retrieved that. Then he went to buy mandarins, apples. He bought 2 sodas, which we didn't know why. That wasn't on the list. Turns out he gave one to his mom as a gift, as well as a dandelion that he had picked for her as a gift.
And he drank the other one himself?
Yep, him and his mom enjoyed them.
I don't know if that was in the budget.
It wasn't in the. It certainly, he made a. He took
Made
the liberty.
a judgment call.
Correct.
Selfish call.
No, but it was he was being sweet. But dude, like they didn't say do not buy anything else. They just didn't think he had the capacity to add other things.
This is a family that is sending its young child up a hill to do its work for it. Chances are they don't have a whole lot of money to spare on luxuries like soda.
I don't think you're right about that. I don't think that the soda was a.
I mean, if
burden,
I'm honest, this
was
whole
burdensome.
story sounds like some kind of weird folklore myth.
But dude,
that's supposed to teach us a lesson.
It's some cultural thing. Apparently, they like send their toddlers out to do errands.
Huh.
It's like some whatever. But dude, so the kid kept. So by the end of this, you're just like so emotionally invested wanting this kid to win. And then when you see that it turns out he had got his mom all these presents, it's like emotional.
Huh.
Then this other little girl had lost her dad, and her mom told her that the dad was a bird, and she actually saw a bird and like this hawk and thought it was her dad. And it's just like, dude, really intense.
You mean that her father had died?
Yes.
Got it. I didn't know if you literally meant lost him, as in can't find him.
Literally lost him as in death. But anyway, cheered her up with that, which was nice.
You know why we couldn't do this show in America?
Why?
Too many pedophiles. They're everywhere. You couldn't send a 7-year-old to take your fish into New York City for sashimi,
Okay.
and then pick up a bunch of fruit,
So what about this?
do some kind of weird cardio workout.
The kids are always in like a smaller town though, which doesn't necessarily make it better from a pedophile perspective. But I'm just trying to think like we would just like people here are just too much of helicopter parents, I think, too.
Mm.
To ever let honestly,
But with good reason is my
exactly.
point.
Yeah. Like, and not just because of the pedophiles, but like crossing the street. These kids have to like cross the street sometimes. And like,
Yeah. And they do that adeptly in Japan. They are better at heeding traffic signals, or
I don't know, dude.
do you think
The
that
kid
those
will,
parents,
sometimes they'll give the kid a flag. So the kid will start waving the flag.
do you think
and
the
then-
parents have warned the kids to abide by traffic signals as well as not enter windowless vans? Do they get the same
don't
warnings
know.
that we do?
I'm not sure.
Or is
dude.
it just
like
not
don't
a
trust
threat?
a stranger kind of thing?
Yeah, is that
I'm not
not
sure.
a threat over there?
I'm not sure.
I'd be curious.
Can we look up some pedophilia?
Yeah, look up
statistics?
the instance of sort of child abductions in Japan and
compared
compare
to
it to America.
America.
Yeah.
Dude, so Ryan said, "Let me get my private browser open."
Incognito mode.
Tor browser.
Uh-huh.
Dude, that's funny. I had a rematch with Brian, the ping
You
pong.
did?
Yes. And he very convincingly beat me.
Oh boy, oh boy.
I believe we played 8 games, and I believe he won 6 of them.
Damn.
We may have even
bro.
played 7, we may have even played 9, and he had won 7. And we bet $20 on the final game, which he won.
Oof.
By modem.
Well, you won when it mattered.
I won when it mattered. It got the W for the boys.
Yeah, I mean, he won $20. That means you're still up 480.
I'm up. And it's unclear. It's unclear what contributed to.
Was Hillary there?
No.
Well, there you go.
Brian had all the things working for him in that capacity.
I went and played tennis with Sierra.
How was that?
It was cool.
It was fun. How's she playing?
She's
I know she's
playing
been
well.
playing a bunch.
She's into it. Apparently, a lot of women are into tennis now. I think it's having a sort of a renaissance.
Okay, but let's say, like, I feel like they have always been. No,
I just don't know.
you're
It's a good point.
It's like, is it just because it's happening in your world, or is it actually reflective of some tennis boom?
Women in my world pick up tennis the way that men pick up golf. It's
regularly?
as inevitable of a life magnetism as anything.
So how was it? How's the club? Did you guys play in grass?
The grass courts weren't ready yet,
Okay.
but we did play. It was awesome. This place has a very cool concert venue
Yeah.
that Bill Burr is coming to perform at in, I think, August, and I was thinking we should all go.
Could be fun.
Would be fun, right?
It could be fun.
Could be fun.
Do you know about this?
What?
I'm hoping that I'm not ruining something by telling you this.
And
Let me just make
feel
sure.
Like that she has tickets, and we are going.
Who do?
Sierra?
Oh, your birthday happened already.
She didn't get me the tickets for my birthday. She had thought about it.
Okay.
But she just told me she didn't get me tickets for it.
I talked her out of it.
You did? Why would you do that?
I'm sorry. She was like, what do you think? Like, should I get Francis tickets to see Bill Burr? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, honestly, like, maybe
we don't
not,
like to go see
because
comedians.
we're comedians, so it's like weird. I thought I completely missed the fucking mark. on that.
No. You. Here's the thing. If I hadn't seen the venue, I probably would not have wanted to go.
Okay. Good to know.
But I've seen the venue and I want to go because it's really cool. Forest Hills.
I led her in the wrong direction.
No, you wouldn't have known.
I also
Your
encouraged
instincts
her
were
to.
correct.
I encouraged her to consult others
Wow.
as well.
This is about as fair of a aid as you could possibly have given.
I tried.
Also, to me, Bill Burr, I'll see him until I die. I've seen him live a handful of times.
He's great.
I just think I want to see his new hour every time he has a new hour.
Dude, speaking of Bill Burr, this reminded, I meant to tell this earlier and I forgot. Did I tell you guys this about the John Hamm thing with the phone?
No, but we were talking about doing John Hamm impressions earlier.
Yeah, so if you think you muster it up, I certainly cannot. But I was at the Garden for that like benefit thing. Bill Burr performed. He was great. And John Hamm comes backstage after the show and his phone was in a Yonder bag, which you know how they like bag your phones up?
Yeah.
And he's like, do you guys know how to open this thing? And everybody's like, dude, you're John Hamm. Like they made you put your phone in a bag. Like when they told you to put your phone in a bag, did you not just say I'm John Hamm? And he was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, that's so funny. Like,
did you not?
no, because I wasn't sitting in the crowd. I was like backstage.
But do you think he's afforded special privileges simply because he's John? I mean, that sounds like an obvious answer. I guess my question is, if he's sitting in the audience, will they make an exception for him?
So my question is like, does John Hamm going on Ticketmaster? You know what I mean? Like,
I bet
I just
someone
assume
set aside tickets
somebody,
for him.
exactly. And
But-
usually when that happens, maybe you're in some kind of grouping of people where you don't need to bag your phone. Is like my only thought, unless that's just not a thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I could see the rule applying to everyone, which I would appreciate. No one's above the law.
Dude, John Hamm is above the, I'm afraid you're going to record this when I tell you not to.
Yes, but the people that he's with might not be.
And
then they can't make an exception for him if they're not. Do you know what I mean?
I think they can.
Slippery slope.
I think John Hamm deserves to have an exception made for, like, imagine it's like via TMZ, CC John Hamm.
Yeah.
Who put it on his story.
He
Like,
films the goose attack at the garden.
That's funny. Okay, what do you say we do a little email?
Oh, I like the sound of that.
We got some good ones that we liked. Okay, this is funny. This one is called Oedipus Issue. Okay, so this email I think came in the wake of the thing about lies, like lying. Remember the story about the girl whose dad told her the police were going to arrest her, but it was a lie? And so for 7 years, she didn't touch drugs because she thought she was on probation.
Yeah.
That story. So that's where this comes. So
Same person?
no. So, but it inspired this email.
Okay.
Writing on the tales of a story you all shared in late April, where the young woman's dad told her if she did drugs over the next 5 years, she had an incredibly severe sentence, and the impacts the lie had in her life. But first, ass kissing. Here we go. My best friend and I picked up your pod in early COVID, the days where Fran was crossfading himself. which he literally just made the crossfading face.
Was I
literally
was I puking? Is that what I was doing?
Maybe. I don't know. You said you were like getting violently high and drinking, and you did get sick.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I mean,
you got sick.
I don't remember talking about that on the podcast. Was that when we would play poker and I was throwing up?
Yes. You
Yeah,
had to go to
people
bed
would
early.
come over and I would, whoopsie daisies.
She goes, we hadn't yet been scarred by the deer story. Hey, listeners, step up your game.
Yeah.
Okay, this person is very intelligent and has a solid inventory in her brain. Fran, we love the show. I've even been graced by a cameo with G and special guest Hill Dog. Excellent. Okay, a few years ago, I was in Mexico City with some friends of friends, and the red wine was flowing. Each person is hoping to raise the bar on who can tell the most fucked up story. As late 20s girls ought to do, the game changed after one of the girls shared the following. When she was in high school, her family went to visit her older sister in college. At a parents' cocktail thing, her sister and date helped her to get quite drunk. The next morning, she admitted she didn't recall the final hour or so of the event with her parents and sister. Hoping her parents were oblivious to the situation, she asked her sister if she had done anything embarrassing. Her sister paused and looked tensely at her boyfriend. And she goes, we didn't want to say anything, but yeah.
Oh, no.
You started grinding on dad.
Oh, my God.
Like a lot. And it really upset everyone. She even cited the song it happened on. This girl was devastated. The ride home was tense. Her parents never brought it up, and she stopped looking her dad in the eye.
Oh, my God.
After college, she's visiting her sister, and in a somber moment, shared how that visit still haunted her. And her sister realizes she had never told her that she'd been joking the entire time. They made it up on the spot because it was so ridiculous.
Wow.
She felt terrible, but long story short, she said it impacted her relationship with her father for years.
Oh, my God.
Then she goes, if you think about it too hard, this story is sad. Dude, that is great.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing it.
Yeah,
That is
damn.
so fucked up, dude.
That is crazy. That's a good story. Great story.
But
I'm glad. Well, I'm very glad to find out that it was not true because my first question, what was my first question going to be?
How is this similar to the...
No, my first question was going to be, it takes two to tango. Why was the dad grinding back?
Yeah, but dude, imagine she said, come on, dad. I always thought you were hot.
Dude, I don't. Then your daughter's fucked up. You're not letting her like, all right, fine, mash your butt cheeks into my shaft, like make it pop, whatever. Sorry, everybody. Gotta take care of my daughter.
Hey, she's a grown woman now.
Yeah,
Dude. Oh my god,
ridiculous. There's no way. So yeah, damn, that's wild.
Dude, on a much more like sort of unimportant level, this kind of stuff happens to me a lot. Just about people telling me something. They'll be like, if you do this too much, you're going to like lose your hair. So then I just won't do that thing for 10 years. And then I find out it wasn't true.
Right.
And now for 10 years, I've been doing the wrong. You know what I mean?
Totally. I mean, the one that we grew up being told was that if you make that face too often, it will freeze that way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which was utter nonsense.
Complete. That's like utter nonsense. But dude, yeah, I don't know. Fucked up. Let's do another one. What do you say?
Yeah. Let me ask you this really quick. Would you ever, as a parent, utilize misinformation to scare your kids towards safety?
You just got to be careful, dude, because the impact of whatever maneuver you're pulling, you can't anticipate like what might come from that you didn't know.
Right.
And
that's
it's a
my
thing.
question.
Yeah, it's almost like a good Game of Thrones example is when she sort of like, I forget the guy's name, the guy who played the Pope, the Red Sparrow. When she sort of like empowers the Red Sparrow, like Cersei or whatever, like that ends up coming back to bite her in the ass. It was like a political move.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
The
Like
High Sparrow?
High Sparrow.
The guy who's the
religious
major leader of the religious, and then he does the shame walk with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, you just got to be careful. Like when you do shit like that, because there's like an angle, there may be some like unanticipated impact that now you're dealing with a whole new problem.
Right. So my question would be, okay, let's say that I told my kid when they got their driver license, the penalty in America for driving under the influence of alcohol is a death by firing squad. Right?
Right. I do that to people as a joke, but then
Yeah. Okay. So
Like, to little
obviously,
kids.
my kid would be able to figure that out, right? But let's say that there was something like that, right, where you told them as a way of trying to make their life safer and making them afraid to do something that truly is dangerous or bad, but that the penalty was so much worse than it actually is. And then they found out that what you had told them was not true. Does that mean that they lose faith in everything you've said? Are they more likely to then do the thing that you've warded them against?
how old are they when you told them this?
I don't know.
Because that matters.
I'm talking about such a hypothetical that I guess it spans. Because you
You
know,
hit an age where like you need to be careful. But to little kids, like I know parents who say that they tell their 3-year-old that when they see candy on the shelf that it's just not on sale yet at that time in the day. And the kid believes that, and now you don't have to fucking deal with, you take the authority out of your hands. You're like, the store doesn't sell that right now. And then they said that when they walk by the candy aisle, he'll be like, let me guess, that's not on sale yet. And they're like, nope, you're right. Not until like 3:00
well,
or something.
yeah, and then the kid goes in by himself later in the day.
No, but the kid's like 3, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't pull these schemes all that long. Kids start to get smart.
I enjoy doing it to like gullible people. Like that, there's like, we might as well call this guy a family friend. He's like a little brother figure. And he's got to be like 10 years younger than me. So when I was like 25, he's 15, I would fuck with him and I would tell him all sorts of shit. So like he got something in the mail for like the census or voter registration, or maybe not because he's 15, 16, whatever. He's some sort of official piece of mail. And I told him, I'm like, you have to reply to that. No, it was jury duty. So he must have been 18. And I was like, you need to reply to that because if you don't, like, you could get the death penalty.
Wow.
And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, dude. So I'll fuck with him. But that's just like, that's innocent. And that's like fun. But still, same thing. I told him we were canoeing in a lake one time. And I told him that there were sharks. And it was like a pond. I was like, there's sharks. Here we go. And he fell out of his kayak. And he starts going, Roddy. He calls me Roddy. He goes, Roddy, sharks. And he came over and then capsized my kayak. And now we were both fucking capsized and had to be rescued.
What?
But like we were fine, but it was like pathetic being like now we're holding onto a rope being pulled to shore in a pond.
Yes.
Yeah, terrible.
I love a good pond.
Whatever. Okay, let's do one more here, and then we can carry on. All right, this is called Friendship Oops. Hey, Francis and Julio and Chris and Ryan. Huge fan of the pod. It's a pretty benign question, so it might not make interesting pod material. But going back to the roots of oops, I have a question about past mistakes. What are your thoughts about addressing past mistakes? I lost contact with a very close friend almost a decade ago. Without going into too much detail, it was my fault. I wasn't a fan of her then boyfriend, which is now her ex-husband, and essentially ghosted my friend. I've thought about reaching out to her for years, but I'm afraid it would come off as self-serving. She's doing totally fine. She doesn't need to hear me air my guilty conscience, and she might not even want to hear from me at all. So I ask, is it worth dredging up the past? Am I being selfish? Would you like to hear from someone that ghosted you a decade ago? Love to hear your opinion.
Ooh.
So I think this is very good.
Yeah, this is challenging because I think it really depends on how much it bothers you still that sore has not healed. I mean, is it really something that you think about and want to fix? Because there are a couple outcomes. The most likely outcome, hopefully, is that you do text or call this person and they're happy to hear from you and nobody cares about what happened 10 years ago. It's always water under the bridge. Your lives have gained so much more definition, and you have other stuff to go on that you're not bothered by something someone did to you 10 years ago. But in the unlikely event that that this person still has clung to this grudge and you call them or text them and they're like, why are you talking to me? I hate you.
Mm.
That will make you feel worse.
Mm. Mhm.
That's not going to, I don't think in theory you could say, well, that person has continued to hate me for 10 years. Like, there's nothing I can do. Fuck that person. Like, who doesn't grow up from that? But to confirm what you suspect, which is probably wrong, but if against all odds it's right that they still do not like you, that would hurt. That would suck.
Mhm.
That would reopen that wound.
Yeah. So the one thing that I think this emailer has on their side is that the ghostage was sort of well-intentioned in a way, and she ended up being right. So like you have that on your side. You know what I mean? Like she ghosted because she did not like the ex-boyfriend who is now the ex-husband. So it's like, I hated him so much. And I don't know how sort of thoroughly she expressed that or not. I don't know if she just kind of left the friend in the dark and the friend had no idea. But regardless, I think that there's something to be gained by at least putting it to rest. Like, you feel guilty. You did the wrong thing. You're well-intentioned here. Like, you miss your friend who you just couldn't handle her terrible boyfriend. You're wrong. It's okay to like apologize. Like, they don't have to forgive you, but I think that you'll feel better either way. And I don't think it's like self-serving. I mean, the reason that this issue arose to begin with is because you were not being self-serving. Like, you were concerned about your friend and couldn't bear to watch her be with this terrible person who then she ended up figuring it out herself.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, but that person's not going to be, she's never going to say, I shouldn't have been so hard on you. You were right all along. That guy was an asshole.
But she wasn't hard on her. She just like, oh, maybe she was. Yeah. I guess you're probably right.
Nobody wants to nobody ever gives the messenger credit.
But she might
even after the fact.
That could be true, but like, I'm trying to think if it was me. Like, somebody hated my girlfriend, and this has actually happened to me before. People have disliked the person I was dating. I made up some reason as to why they didn't like them. I may or may not have been right about it to a degree, but things ended up crumbling, and I'm like, oh, that guy, he was right. I didn't want to hear it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like willing to admit that at that point because by not admitting it, it almost is inconsistent with what your actions. So by ending the divorce, you're essentially saying, I agree with you. This person was not right for me.
Right.
It's not even like there's nothing to be at odds about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you're right.
I don't know.
You're right. But I don't know that everyone can see the world that fairly.
Right.
Not everyone has such hopeful, good perspective, I guess.
I'm impressed that she even said that she thought she was being selfish for the idea of wanting to reach out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
wouldn't have come to my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I've had old friendships that have dissipated due to a bad moment where later, we took our time, cooled off, and later tried to show each other that we weren't still mad, but it didn't bring us back together.
And maybe that may be fine.
And if that's the case, it almost makes you think, well, then maybe we weren't intended to be friends for life.
Mm-hmm.
Friendships, like relationships, they're not all, just because you've been friends with someone for a long time doesn't mean you're supposed to keep in touch with them and carry them on until the two of you die.
Right.
Yeah,
but you've gone too far to continue moving forward, too far to turn back.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Oh, well, let's get out of here.
Okay.
Oh, Ryan.
Ryan, thank you.
The truth sayer.
All right.
Our fact checker.
So, a couple points that we touched on this episode. First things first, Guy Fieri. He became famous because he won the next Food Network Star competition show in 2006.
No fucking way, dude. He is the Kelly Clarkson of food.
Wow.
He is. There are 419
Well said.
episodes of
Thanks.
Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
How many?
419.
Jeez.
And
That's
then off to NHL versus NBA.
Okay.
The average NHL game is 2 hours and 45 minutes. Intermissions are 17 minutes each. The average NBA game is 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Half an hour longer.
Good call.
Halftime is 15 minutes long. The time in between quarters 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are 4.3 minutes total.
Okay.
So that's not including timeouts. I couldn't find that. So just
Yeah,
I would
but-
assume regardless, NBA is longer than NHL.
It's half an hour longer. It's substantial.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then for child abductions, per 100,000 children a year, 0.2 cases of missing children go on in Japan. And in the USA, there's 1.7 cases per
Damn.
100,000 children. So that's 8.5 times the amount of children
Yeah.
getting
Staggeringly
abducted in
high.
the U.S.
So
versus
many
Japan,
more.
hence
So many
making
more.
sense for old enough to make sense. In
No
that country.
wonder
sense.
they're sending the kids out alone. Yeah, you could send those kids out wearing no pants. Pretty much.
The number one country with the most abductions per year.
Can we try to guess?
Yeah.
Of,
I,
chil-
I, have
of
the, I also
children?
have the top 5 if you guys want to take a
Yeah,
stab
let's
at
take
that.
some-
Of children?
Yeah, I only have
Yeah.
the statistic for the number one, but for the top 5, I have those countries.
Okay.
So take a stab.
You
want
want to take a stab at the
We
top
can
5
go
countries?
we can go one at a time if you want and see if we can, or unless you want to do
You name 5 countries and then I'll name 5 countries. Or if you want me to go first, I'll go first.
it.
Highest child abduction
Per
rate.
100, it's like per 100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think about how to do this. I'm gonna say, I don't know, pulling this out of my ass. U.S., India, South Africa, China, and Brazil.
No.
0. I didn't get any of them.
Oh? Okay, well, then I have an advantage because some of those would have been on mine. For some reason, I would have thought China based on like their utilization of children in labor. Okay, geez. Well, then it has to be super high crime countries. Did you say Brazil?
Mhm.
You did? Is Russia on there?
No.
Fuck, dude.
And China was high on the list for older reports in previous years. This is the most updated one I could find from 2021.
Oh, so they've cracked down
At
on
a
it.
point in time, they were the highest.
Amazing. And the U.S. is not on there.
No.
Good for us.
Good for us.
Oh God, dude. All right, then is it some countries in Africa? Is it some of the stands? Is Estonia on there?
There's a Stan.
Is it Kyrgyzstan? Turkmenistan?
No.
All right,
Afghanistan?
Afghanistan?
No.
I don't know. Give us the list.
Okay, so
Wait,
have
hold on.
no idea.
Mexico?
no.
Jesus.
So 4 through 5, we have
Honduras, Guatemala. Guatemala's got to be on there. God damn it.
no. They're,
El
Venezuela.
Salvador?
no.
Jesus.
Wow.
Okay.
We
Put
should
us out of
stop
our misery.
guessing.
So 2 through 5 is Pakistan, Luxembourg, Germany, and then Ecuador.
Luxembourg.
What?
Luxembourg?
And
There's
then
like no one in that country.
And it's super rich.
That's fucked up. That's a why. Okay.
Maybe
Luxembourg,
that's why.
Germany.
Maybe they
yeah.
have some of the cream of the crop kids.
What
and
was the
number
last one?
1 with 9.5 child abduction cases per 100,000 children per year is New Zealand,
Oh.
Wow.
according to this 2021 study.
Why is it all these places? Is it?
Okay, give us the list one more time. So it's New Zealand number 1. Then
Then, in no particular order, Pakistan, Luxembourg, Germany, and Ecuador. Those are the other of the top 5.
that is we would never have guessed.
That's a crazy list.
That is so wild.
If anybody's knowledgeable on child abductions, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Correct us.
That's
And
wild.
we'll
dude.
come find you.
Well, keep your eyes on your kids, unless you live in Japan.
That's not how you do it. This is how you're going to want to do it. What the fuck? All right. Great.
Take us out.
Oops, the podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'll be in Appleton, Wisconsin, June, I think 8th and 9th, or June 9th and 10th, the weekend there. So get tickets to that, francisellis.com. Hope to see some of you guys there.
My next thing, July. Well, I have more stuff kind of probably coming in July, but the stuff that's on my site right now, July 28th, Seattle. There's a few left to that one come out, and I'm adding more stuff soon. Look forward to seeing you.